the nerf to acquiring credits and wheel spins, the auction house is now the best way to make credits. If you watch my Series 3 auction house guide, then these are all the cars that you should have collected. The Neo EP9 and the Unicorn V2 are from the current series, so ignore them, but some of the Series 3 cars are already selling for 20 million, so lots of credits to be made. These are all the cars I managed to sell during Series 3. The Zero Uno finally reached a respectable sell price, so that was nice. Peel Trident turned out to be a very good investment car. I wish I'd collected more of those. Now, let me quickly collect all my credits. Look at that. Went from 56 million to 946 million credits. That's just disgusting. It feels so good and so bad at the same time. Let's first talk about the 500 million credits giveaway. Now, because Horizon 5 does not have any donor cars, the best way to give away credits is for me to buy all your junk cars. So, whatever cars you have that are not needed or that are duplicates, list them on the auction house for 24 hours, then drop your gamer tag in the comments, or reach out to me on Xbox or Reddit, or join my Discord server and contact me there. I'll buy all your junk cars, which gives you credits. I will then proceed to delete these junk cars permanently so there won't be any return trading. I feel that credits are more important than giving away rare cars because rare cars can be sniped by someone else and may not reach a player I'm trying to help out, but credits allow you to buy whatever you want. This giveaway will be on a first come first serve basis, so people who contact me first will be prioritized, and since there is a 25 daily buy limit on the auction house, I can only buy a limited number of cars every day. So, if I can't buy your junk cars the same day, be patient, I'll definitely buy them the next day. Also, because of this 25 daily buy limit, it would be preferable if you list cars that have a max buyout of at least 100,000 credits, but this isn't a requirement. I will continue to buy your junk cars until I drop by 500 million credits. Considering my most recent 300 million credits giveaway it took 5 days to complete, this one should last about a week at most, so hurry! Sell your junk now! Now let's get on with the auction house guide. First, some information regarding the auction house. If you are new to the game or you would like a refresher, then I recommend watching through the next section. If however you would like to find out what cars to invest in for this series, then you can just skip to the timestamp shown on screen. You can also find the timestamps in the description. If you feel there is something important that I should have mentioned, feel free to let me know in the comments below and I will update future videos. So let's get started. The value of each car on the auction house depends on the source of the car. There are three main sources for obtaining cars, namely the auto show, wheel spins, and seasonal playlists. Any car that can be obtained from the auto show has no real value. They are always available for all players. Any car that sells in the auto show usually sells for cheaper in the auction house, so be sure to look there if you don't care about being the original owner on the car. Further, a large number of auto show cars can be obtained from wheel spins, and if you get duplicates, you can sell them for half the cost of the car. So a car like the Shelby Daytona can be sold from the wheel spins menu for 15 million credits. The game uses a rarity system, but this only determines drop rates for cars from wheel spins, with legendary cars having the lowest drop rates. Some cars can only be obtained from wheel spins, however the value for such cars is solely determined by performance and popularity, irrespective of rarity. So while some wheel spin only cars can make you credits, they are still not a good investment. For cars that are not found in wheel spins, the game's rarity system is irrelevant. The maximum value lies in seasonal cars. Seasonal cars can only be obtained via weekly playlist events, the Forza Town shop, and sometimes Super 7. These cars will only be available for a limited time and as a result are very good investment cars because prices only rise once they leave the festival playlist. Depending on popularity and performance, they can go for anywhere between 7 and 20 million. So while a car is available in a week, you want to snipe them in the auction house and sit on them for prices to increase, at which point you can sell them for very large profits. Usually each car will reach a stable max price within 3 weeks of leaving the festival playlist. Irrespective of source, whenever a car is added to the weekly playlist, it will see a price drop on the auction house. Auto show cars will be even less valuable and wheel spin only cars generally see a price drop and never recover. However, when a seasonal car is added to a playlist, you want to snipe and sit on them again for prices to rise later on. Max buyout price of a car increases or decreases based on how often it sells at max price as well as availability. If a car sells more often at max price, then the max buyout will increase, and if it doesn't sell often, the max buyout will decrease. In these cases, you can see a max buyout price change on a daily basis and sometimes even a few hours. However, if a car is not easily available but sells quickly at max price, then the max buyout price is going to increase very slowly over several days. Also, keep in mind that all cars have a max buyout price limit of 20 million. So anytime you are holding on to a car and the max buyout reaches 20 million, it's time to sell. Just go ahead and sell. You can only buy and list 25 cars every 24-hour period. List here means listing for sale. Whether the car sells or not doesn't matter. This 25 car limit is separate for buy and list. So you can buy 25 cars and you can list for sale 25 cars. The 24-hour limit is also individual for each car that you buy or list. So for example, if you buy or list one car at 10 a.m., a second car at 6 p.m., and 23 cars at 11 p.m., you will not be able to buy or list anymore after that. However, at 10 a.m. the next day, you'll be able to buy or list one car, at 6 p.m. two cars, and at 11 p.m. all 25 cars. So that is how it works. The reset is on a per car basis. Now, using this last bit of info, you can actually buy 50 cars in about 24 hours. So let's say between 10 and 11 a.m. today, you bought 25 cars. Then tomorrow between 10 and 11 a.m., you'll again be able to buy 25 cars, making for a total of 50 cars in about 24 hours. The auction house has a tax or fee on all sales you make. The fee is about 15%. It's not exact, and any credits you collect will be reduced by 15%. So when you sell a car for 20 million, you will only receive about 17 million from that. Also, this fee starts to lower as the price of the car goes lower than 10 million credits. Next is an experience suggestion. When you list the car on the auction house, you have an option to set a time limit for the sale. This goes from 1 hour all the way up to 24 hours. However, listing a car for 24 hours is the same as listing the car for 1 hour in 23 hours from now. This is because when you check listings for any car, the game shows you listings that are about to expire first. So if you set a time limit of 24 hours, it will be at the bottom of the list and will only be visible at the top after 23 hours or so. So it's just better to list a car for 1 hour instead. However, a bit more on the subject, the auction house is more active during US timings from my experience. So that's about 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific time. During this time, you'll find much more rare car listings. So with that in mind, if you live or play in a less active time zone, you can set a time limit on your sale so that it will be near the top of listings during the more active time on the auction house. This will make it easier for you to sell cars. Also, if a car is rare or unavailable on the auction house, then it is perfectly fine to list it for 24 hours. You can also use the auction house as a temporary storage for cars. If you frequently use the auction house to make credits, at some point you will end up buying hundreds of cars. Your garage only has a 1000 car limit, and if you also like collecting cars, it will fill up quite fast. So, if you don't claim cars from the My Bid section, you won't have to worry about garage space. Eventually, when the price of the cars is high enough, you can claim them and put them up for sale. However, keep in mind that unclaimed cars and any uncollected credits only remain in the auction house for 60 days, after which point the listings are removed automatically. The 60-day time is from the completion of an auction. Now, while you should be using the auction house as a storage, you should also know that there is a risk involved. If the auction house servers fail like they did towards the end of Forza Horizon 4, you will end up losing all your unclaimed cars and credits. Playground games did compensate players for the credit values, but there is that risk. This next point comes down to personal preference, but if you are playing the game regularly, you don't really need to invest in more than 10 of each seasonal car. If you do, it can sometimes be slow and annoying to sell them all off. And those are all my tips for the auction house. If there is anything important you wish to add, do let me know in the comments. Now I'll explain bidding and sniping. There are 3 ways to acquire cars from the auction house. The first is to buy a car at max price. The second method is bidding, where you place bids and compete with other bidders in order to win the car. Now, when you do play a bidding war, it is better to bid on only one car at a time. That way, your My Bid section loads faster and you don't have to go through a list of cars to bid on the car you are trying to win. Every time you place a bid, whether it fails or succeeds, make sure to back out of the My Bids menu and go back in again to place another bid. This refreshes the latest bid amount so you don't end up failing a bid over and over again. Only place a bid when you are outbid, otherwise you run the risk of buying out the car. Keep repeating the bidding process until you either win or lose the car. In this case, I did manage to win the LaFerrari. Bidding can be a good way of acquiring expensive cars for very low prices. The third and the most profitable method is sniping cars for very low prices. The reason you can even find cars for very low prices is because some players try to trade them to friends. Even though the auction house is not a 1:1 trading platform, some players just sell cheap, some don't care and want to get rid of a car, while some players want to help out other players. In order to snipe a car effectively, first we need to determine the least price the car sells for. In the case of the Maserati 8CTF, at the time of making this video, we see that there are no listings below 6 million. A good max buyout for sniping cars is generally 50% of the lowest consistent selling price you can find. So in this case, we will go for 3 million. After that, it is a matter of refreshing the search over and over until you find a cheap listing, and then you can go for an immediate buyout. Now, I am going to be completely honest, as profitable as sniping can be, it is also super inconsistent. Sometimes you can snipe anywhere between 6 to 10 cars in an hour, and sometimes you won't even see one listing. You also compete with other players while sniping cars, so your internet speed and quality as well as your hardware also play a big role in how fast you can be in order to snipe cars successfully. Having the game installed on an SSD helps out a lot. For the purpose of this video, I want to show you what sniping looks like. When you find a cheap car listing, you immediately want to hit Y for auction options, then head down to select buyout. Then quickly start tapping the A button on controller or the enter key on a keyboard to confirm the buyout. This is how it looks when done correctly. And here it is again slowed down 4 times. Now for the most important part of the video, the cars to invest in for Series 4. Here is a list of all cars available in Series 4. The list does not contain Forza shop cars or Super 7 cars for the coming weeks. You can find a link to the spreadsheet in the description. I update it regularly. The only cars you want to invest in are seasonal cars. First, we have the Neo EP9 in summer for 25 points and the Gymkhana 10 Ford Unicorn Mustang for 40 points. The Unicorn is a returning car, so it has seen a price drop but will eventually rise in price. So try and snipe a few for a max buyout of 3 million. In autumn, we have the Ruling Sunshine S for 25 points. In winter, we have the 2012 Porsche 911 GT3 RS 4.0 for 25 points. And finally, in spring, we have the 2015 MG MG3 for 25 points. And that's it for this video. If you find it helpful, do subscribe, like, and comment. This is Big Head Django. I'll see you next time.